Hello, America and the world. Welcome to another episode of Life After Lockup. This is a program that is designed to show the community, the public, and whoever is watching a different side of incarceration and those that get out of incarceration, the life that they have to live, the struggles that they make, and the decisions that they make as well, just to show you that everybody is not a criminal. Everybody does not want to go back to prison. There are those that do want to have a better life. And we try to interview people such as that, and just to show you a different side. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Mike Miller. Brother Mike Miller, God bless you. I'm doing good, man.
God bless you too.
Good to have you. Good to have you today. And we're going to get right into the program, because people, I'm sure, are wanting to hear from you and to find out a little bit about you. And we've talked, but it's good to show the people the kind of person that you are and what has happened to you in your past. So if you would, just kind of give us a little description of where you've been, basically what landed you in prison, how long you were you there?
Well, I was in prison for 10 years, from 91 to 2001.
So 10 calendar years.
10 calendar years,
Mm-hmm.
yes I was, and for armed robbery.
Okay.
And in the state of Georgia.
Okay.
And since then, since 2001, I've gotten out and worked. You know, at first it wasn't easy,
Okay.
but you have the support of your family
Mm-hmm.
and friends of the family, you know, to help you get jobs, you know, because that's very important.
Right.
And,
right.
you know, and you just have to do the best you can.
Okay. Now, you said you went in in 91.
In 91.
Okay.
Yes.
And you've been out since 2001.
Yes.
Now, coming out after 10 years, now I did 3.
Mm-hmm.
10 years seemed like it's a lifetime. So coming out after 10 years, was it difficult trying to make an adjustment to life?
Well, it was. And, you know, because when you in like an enclosed environment for so long,
Mm-hmm.
it really is, you know, but like I said, it's when you have the support of your family,
Wow.
it's kind of like instead of pushed out into society, you kind of like take baby steps
Okay.
to get back in there.
Okay. Do you come from a pretty large family, or?
Yes, sir, I sure
Okay.
do.
So I think we were talking earlier. You were the only one in your family that
Yes.
took that left turn.
Yes, that's right.
You know, but your family was supportive, especially your mom and your dad.
Yeah, my mom and dad, my grandparents, both sets, aunts, uncles, cousins, you know, they were supportive. Even while I was incarcerated, you know, they would come to Georgia. If they lived out of the state of Georgia, they would come. But at the time, my parents did live in Georgia, in
Okay.
Atlanta. So it kind of made it easy. Then it kind of made it rough.
I'm sure.
Because, you know, when the visitation's over, it's like, oh, man, I'm going to miss my folks, you
Yeah.
know.
But I know you did 10, and usually the hardest, and I think most people that are incarcerated would agree to this, the hardest thing about incarceration was holidays, birthdays. Christmas was probably about the worst.
Yes, it really was. You know, you get visits around those times, and then it's been a couple of years where I didn't get no visits because, you know, family sick, you know,
yeah.
but, you know, I got to talk to them or whatever and send cards, and they send me cards. But you know, really the holidays was a bad time. Okay. And on your birthdays. You know?
Yeah, definitely birthday. Now, you're a young man, and how old were you when you went in?
21, just turned 21.
My goodness.
Yes.
And so most of your 20s are
All of the
incarcerated.
20s.
Yeah, all of your 20s incarcerated, and then you come out at 31 and trying to adjust.
Yeah.
And it had to been difficult. Did you feel like you missed out on life or on some things?
Well, I did. I felt like I missed out on some things, but you know, there's no way to getting it back.
Right.
So, to me, I just had to move on. You know, I really did. I just had to move on, and I used it as a learning experience.
Okay. Good.
Because I was there, I picked up numerous of trades.
Okay.
And went to school.
Great.
You know, even college.
Great.
I took college classes while I was in there.
Man, that is good.
And they provided that for the state of Georgia. I don't know if
Right.
Kentucky does that, but they
the
did
state of
do
Georgia
that.
provides that, and that that's such a positive thing to take advantage of the situation that you're in to the point to where getting out of it all that you can get that can benefit you once you get out.
Exactly.
Because if a person don't have life, eventually they're going to get out of prison.
Yes.
And eventually they're going to have to go on with their life. Now you've been out since 2001, so it was 9 years now. Almost. Okay.
That's right.
And you're working, doing really, really well. But was it difficult to get a job at first?
Well, at first, I'm gonna tell you the story about that.
Okay.
It was like you had something on the inside was telling you like you're not gonna get a job
Right.
because of where you've been so long or whatever. And it's like, society going to stereotype you.
Right.
But to tell you the truth, I was out 2 weeks. And then I got a job.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Okay.
at General Tire there in Mayfield. I sure did. I
man.
got a job there, and then I was there for a while, and then when they was about to close,
Right.
that's when I stayed and got my CDLs,
Okay.
and then I moved on to another job. So it wasn't all me. It was God was blessing me.
Definitely had to be.
He was blessing me.
He had to be.
And I just feel like, to me, I feel like He watched over me because he knew before I got out, I was like, I don't want to come back.
Exactly.
I want to do what I can is right, and never see this place again.
I hear you. And that is 2 weeks after you were out.
2 weeks.
And it seems like you had a determination on the inside of you to make it, even though the stereotypes.
Yeah.
And now, were you on the applications? Putting on there?
I was on the application putting it on there.
Okay.
I didn't see no need to hide.
Right, eventually it'll come up.
I looked at it that it was a learning experience. My first time, never been in trouble. I got in trouble and I was gone for so long. So I was like, okay, I'm going to use this to build myself up, to do what's right, and it was like, and it wasn't, and I didn't really have too much problem with that when I first got out, because like I said, my parents
were there
and
with
family and grandparents and stuff, they was there. So
okay, so the thought of lying on your application really never was an issue for you. Okay,
never.
Even in the back of your mind, knowing that people are going to stereotype me or people are going to,
because I look at it like it's, if the job was meant for me to have it, I'm gonna have it.
Okay, see, that's the God thinking, and a lot of times people don't think like that,
That's right.
But that's the God thinking, and making sure that that He's with you and that He's going to take care of you,
no matter what.
And so you got a job 2 weeks after being out, and you've been working pretty steady, except for maybe little times that you were making transitions or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, the only times I really wasn't working was like I was working at this one company and I was driving trucks, dump trucks and stuff, and they have like a winter layoff or whatever.
Right.
And at times, and nowadays it's like when they ready to cut back, if you're on the bottom of the totem pole,
You're the first one.
You're gone.
Right.
So yeah, it was right then where you had to do the unemployment thing,
Right.
and then that's when you had to go and look for something else.
Right. And so really the struggles that you had with jobs were basically normal struggles, or if you can call them struggles at all, normal things that anybody would go through.
That's
So
right.
so the prison thing really hasn't been a hindrance to you.
I didn't let it be.
And that's good. I like that. You didn't let it be.
No, I didn't let it be. So many times people will say that, I'm not going to get that job because I've been incarcerated, or I've done a year, or I've done a month in jail. That shouldn't stop you.
Right. It shouldn't stop you from going out getting it.
That's right. Because like I said, if the job is meant for you, it no matter what,
Right.
you're going to get it.
You're gonna get it.
And God, if somebody's there, He'll remove them because it's your job, right?
I like that. Because
right.
if it's yours, then you're
right.
going to get it.
That's
Whatever has to happen, you're going to get it. Now, you said you are educated. You got some education. You learned some trades while you were in there, and now those trades paying off basically. Now,
a lot of the work skills paying off, but
Okay.
some of the trades that I did take, haven't used them.
oh, okay,
since.
but it was good at least learning.
Yeah, it was a good learning experience.
Right.
It really was, to
Right.
do different things and not have the everyday life of being incarcerated. Just going to rec, and
Right.
getting up in the morning, just doing a regular detail. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to take classes, take different courses, even take public speaking.
Oh my goodness!
And man, I
that's
did
good
that too.
stuff.
So
It was. You've been able to use that public speaking thing, right?
Yeah, right now.
That's a good thing. That is a good thing.
That's right.
Now, it's good to know, because I always bring this up with everybody that I interview. Family support. I mean, can you elaborate on the importance of family support?
I don't have enough words to say about that, because the family support must be there. Must be there, because for an individual to get out, at least done after 5 years,
Right.
There's got to have some type of family support, whether it's a brother, sister, or a parent, grandparents, aunt, uncle. I think it's a must.
Okay.
I really do.
Because now we're in a process of trying to help people coming out of prison, and one of the main things that is lacking is jobs and shelter. Now, you were fortunate because you had somewhere you could go to stay, and if without that family support, you'd have been out on the streets, basically struggling, trying to survive.
Yeah.
Because even up for those 2 weeks, what would you have done if you had not had family there for the 2 weeks that you were looking for a job?
Probably would have lost my mind.
Really? Because where would you go?
That's like nowhere. You wouldn't have been nowhere. It's like you'd been stuck, because I've have met numerous of guys in the time that I was locked up that have gotten out, didn't have family. Right. Maybe their mother or father passed away, or grandmother or whatever, and it's like a month later you see them right back again.
Right.
Because there was no support, and most guys didn't want to go and stay in the shelter.
Right.
And make minimum wage. And it's like some guys I've met this day would rather just come back.
Now that's a horrible thing for a guy. I would rather go back to prison than to be out here without any support. But it's a horrible thing coming out without the support that you need. You did 10 years. I mean, if your parents had not been there, I would shudder to think about where you would be 9 years later.
And I thank God for keeping my parents here so I could have somewhere to go, and other family members too.
Right,
because I've got a lot of family that lives in Atlanta. So, but I choose to move away to get a fresh start to come back up here to Kentucky.
Right,
So.
and that's really good. Now I know that there's some parents probably watching this show, and they're probably wondering, okay, well, I'm mad at them. They shouldn't have gone. It's their fault. They get what they deserve. And some parents are kind of like that because maybe the child was a little rough or disobedient or whatever. And so, well, just let them do the time and let them figure it out the best way they can. What would you say to a parent that is thinking that? Because some parents are fed up.
Yeah, I understand. What I would say is being in my shoes, I would say that they should still support that child, because without that guidance from them from when that child comes out, it's like a revolving door. It's going to keep going the same old thing. The cycle's going to keep going over and over and over. And sometimes it needs a stopping point for that. And I really, think that the parents, I understand that kids is bad, and want to do whatever, like you say, but that support, because sometimes it takes that individual to want to get out of it. If you show that person love and caringness, whether it's the parents or a grandparent or an aunt and uncle, then maybe that person could come out of that.
Right, exactly. I know some people, one man, as we're speaking, that he's been down now probably about 9 years, has not gotten a letter or a visit from family at all. Has both mother and father and sisters and brothers that are around, but doesn't get any type of support from them at all. And it's not only that support after. How important is the support while you're incarcerated?
It's very important, very, very important, because a lot of guys, I've seen guys like that, what you just said, and it's like, they mope around a lot, you know, and you know they don't never really get into any activities, you know, and that support while a person's incarcerated, especially like you said, the gentleman's been in there for 9 years, he really needs a letter from somebody, from somebody, and because that support, it kind of keeps your mind away from what that you have to go through.
Right.
Even though that you was wrong, you know, you did wrong, so you have to do your time. But it still keeps your mind off of other stuff, negative stuff that's around you.
Right.
You know.
And I, you know, and it's so important, even with churches and organizations that are out there, because you know we do it. Even sometimes we just go through the list of incarcerations and just send cards. You know, because we don't ever know who is getting cards or letters from parents or whatever. But people need that, something from the outside. It keeps them in touch with people on the outside, especially if it's parents.
Yeah, just to let the person know that you've been thought of.
Right, and
because that goes a long way. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that goes a long way for when somebody's incarcerated. Just the thought of somebody was just thinking about them. They took the time to send me a card.
Exactly.
Or just to write a letter, just to say hi, you know, and just it goes a long way.
It does, and the thought, because sometimes, and people don't realize it. But okay, you need things while you're incarcerated. You know, even though you're getting 3 meals a day and you got a roof over your head, you don't have to worry about bills, things of that nature. But there are, especially now, I don't really know what it was like in Georgia, but a lot of the prisons, you have to buy everything. Medicine, your shoes, your underwear, your deodorant, toilet paper. You have to buy everything.
Well, it wasn't like that in Georgia. They provided that kind of stuff for you, but they did have like a commissary which you can go getting stuff, you know, like snacks,
things of that nature,
stuff like that. But the other stuff you just said is like they give it to you, you know, they provide it for you down there in Georgia.
Right, and it's really amazing now, because I talk to people a lot that say, especially when they first go in, that they need money so that they can basically get the regular things that is necessary, maybe things that we take for granted. But you said, you know, they provided that for you guys.
They do, but it's more or less like the bottom of the shelf stuff, you know. But you know, it does help. Like if you do receive money, then you can get like better stuff, you know, the toothpaste, you know, mouthwash, stuff like that, you know. But that support while a person's in there, it really, really, really helps a lot.
And to be able to talk to somebody in your family every now and then, you know, and it's because I know people are watching, and they're watching this program, and there are some people that are probably upset at their sons or daughters, or could be some children that are upset at their moms and dads for being in prison. And just like you said, a card or a letter, some type of communication helps that person to stay connected.
Yeah, because with me, I didn't write a lot. I would always call. My parents and grandparents, they was like, yeah, just call whenever you feel like it. So,
you did.
And cousins or whatever, you know, I would call them, and my aunts and uncles, because I got family all over the United States. So, but mainly I would send cards out on holidays. You know, I wasn't too tough like a letter type person, you know. But I would call, and it was like, to me, it was more comforting when you got to hear somebody's voice. Than it would just to read a letter. So I would at least call my parents maybe once every 2 weeks, or my grandparents, like same thing, once every 2 weeks, or you know, aunts and uncles once a month or whatever, you know. Or it just depends if somebody's sick. You know, I would call maybe 2 or 3 times a month just to check to see how everything's going. You know, because when there's nothing you can do. But it's you want to know. You know what I mean? It ease your mind instead of getting a letter saying, oh, such and such is sick and going to be hospitalized for so long, and then your mind just goes racing. So for me, it was better for me to call and talk to my parents or other members of my family.
Can you imagine, after being there, even being there as long as you were, without any type of outside letters, outside calls. Can you imagine what kind of person you would be? Because I know you was probably in there with some people that didn't get what you got.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the difference between, or what kind of mindset did they have versus yours?
Well, it was different because some people's mindsets was like stony,
Right.
You know,
Non-caring.
Lord, let me not have a stony heart.
Right,
But
right.
there's people that was just, that was stony.
Right.
And it was like, and then some guys I've known that was in there has been, for 25, 30 years, and it's like they adapt to it. It's like, they, it's like everyday life. They get along, they do speak, and they might not get a shred of mail. But it's like they then accepted it. And, they know that they're going to be here for the rest of their lives. So,
They learn to adapt. I get letters quite often from females and men that are incarcerated, and the saddest thing that they say on there is, since I've been here, I've been thrown away. It's like my family has thrown me away. They are out of sight, out of mind. No cars, no letters, no money. And it's heartening it's hard for me to believe that that family would just totally, disown and forget a person, and because I know sometimes fathers and mothers get upset, especially if a person has gone in back and forth on a regular basis. I understand them getting a little bit upset.
Yeah, because those parents are tired.
Yeah,
I can understand those parents are tired of seeing their child or brother or sister or whatever, keep constantly getting in trouble. And then sometimes it is best for let them suffer the consequences, but it's like, you can say that, but still a person really, really needs some conversation, some kind of contact with a family member outside of what they, going through,
right,
of being incarcerated.
And I brought that up because this was your first time going in.
Yeah.
And when I went in was my first time, okay? And I needed all the help I could get. It almost drove me 3 years, almost drove me crazy.
Man, it did.
Okay, now, but on the other hand, when it's a person that is a repeater, this is their third, fourth, fifth time in the same type of thing, and I like what you said. When do you think it's a time for parents to step back, for people to step back?
That's hard to say, because that would have to be the judgment call to that parent.
Right.
But for me to have seen guys that come in when I was there for so long to get out, come back, get out, come back, I think it's that individual. It's up to that individual to want to stop being that way. It's like, okay, hey, I'm going to stop committing crimes or doing whatever to get a job.
Right.
Wait on a paycheck, do it right. Pay my taxes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Have a car note. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I really think it's up to that individual. It's but the support of the family, it should be there. But if that, it's like sometimes, like a child, if you go touch a stove so many times, eventually he's gonna be like, hey, I'm not gonna touch it no more.
Exactly.
That hurts.
Exactly. It hurts.
So I think it's up to that individual to just, to stop wanting to be that way. And I really believe that, for the individual to stop wanting to be that way is for that person to start praying and asking God to deliver them from being that way.
Right.
To do the right thing.
Right. So do you think that okay, maybe after the third time, I'm just saying, just for instance, whenever the parent feels like that this is the time or whatever, that absence from that support could possibly make this person think about
change, kind of like a shock treatment.
Right.
Possibly.
Because I'm here now. Okay. Before the last 3 or 4 years I've been here, I've been getting money on my books. I've been getting phone cards. I've been getting all this the support and all the visitations. But this time, I'm not getting anything.
It's possibly, that's, like a shock treatment. It could work, or it could backfire.
Right.
It can make that person, that child or young adult, whatever,
bitter,
make them mean at society, mean at family members, mean just around the other inmates in there and guards, you know, because I've seen that happen before
as well. And the amazing thing, because we don't have a whole lot more time left. One of the main things while you were saying that, make them mean and mad at everybody else. One of the main things, and I'm sure you had to come to that conclusion too, is the man in the mirror.
That's right.
To deal with the man in the mirror.
That's right.
Who was it that made the choices for me to be here?
That's right.
And because if I made the choices for me to be here, I can also make the choices for me to stay out.
That's right.
Because after a while, a person is going to have to take a real good look at themselves and make a decision on whether or not they want to stay out or whether they want to keep going back.
Exactly, because when I was incarcerated, you know, it was like I didn't want to come back. Never.
Right.
I was, you know, I made it, you know, like a covenant with myself and God, and I was like, okay, I'm not coming back here.
Right.
Lord, you let me out of here. I'm not coming back.
Right.
You know, I don't want to come back to doing this no more. It was like, it was kind of like a experience. You know, growing up experience. Okay, it's like kind of like God sit me still for a minute. I say, okay, hey, you're gonna sit still for a while until you realize I got other things in store for you to do. So, but to me, individually, it's like I didn't want to come back.
Right. And
no matter what.
When you have that kind of mentality of not wanting to come back no matter what, I like that last part of no matter what. Same type mentality I had, no matter what. So when you have that kind of mentality, you will do whatever you need to do that's right.
That's right. Yes.
You know,
that's
to stay out and to keep moving forward. And when you have that kind of mentality, you can stay out.
Yeah, and yes, I did get a job 2 weeks after, but still it was, and then another job after that. But the thing is, it's like the waiting process. You have to be patient.
Right.
You know, for the interviews, you have to be patient for people to calling you in for interviews. You got to be patient with job openings, taking your time to fill out resumes, fill out applications, going to certain places, talking more like selling yourself, and you know, and that first impression, you know, is like number one.
It is.
You know?
It is. And we're getting close to the end of this thing, but you hit on something right here that I definitely need to say. You know, you're a sharp-looking guy, man. I like how how you're dressing and how you're sharply got yourself together. That is so important for moms and dads and for people that are watching this show. Your how you carry yourself, how you look to other people, first impression is so important, and people are going to have to know that you can't just show up when you want to, dressed how you want to be dressed. You're going to have to really, you know, to take care of how you look and how you present yourself, you know, to other people, and that is so important. And we are completely out of time.
Okay.
And man, and I really appreciate you
Pastor
being
Walton.
here. Thank you so much. And I want to say to those that are watching, continue to watch Life After Lockup. Let your friends know what we're doing. If you have comments or questions, or you know somebody that you would want to be a guest on our program, the email address is there, or the phone number is there. Call us. Let us know. And thank you so much again for watching Life After Lockup. God bless you. You have a marvelous day.